Okay. So now it is October 12th of 2022. It's about 9 a.m. in the morning and it's cold outside. This will be day number 5. Yesterday, I ended up being on this side of the house. Did that patch. It's mostly done now. I mean, I have to eventually get in there and dig up the dirt. What I want to do is enrich the dirt. But I have, you know, the bluebell crocoshells. I have a whole bunch of little patches of those in there. And so it's not like I can come with that fabric stuff and just cover it over before I go outside. I have a bit of a slight headache. And it's going to be a long day. I'm trying to keep myself out there until dark. I had to come in a little earlier yesterday. One, because I was just getting so fed up with everything and so frustrated and so disgusted with it all that, you know, just with the setup of it, people. I mean, it's obvious it's a fucking setup, right? They're having a hard time selling these houses because the economy is crashing. Obviously, Canada is doing better in terms of the underground economy that props up the economy, okay, because the criminal activity within the province is embedded so deep into our public union sector and within our government itself that, you know, it can sustain itself with the dead bodies and, you know, and use hospitals and hospital staff and, you know, ambulance staff and just the coroner's office, just everybody that's involved with trafficking dead body parts, okay? Or even alive body parts for all we know, because we're dealing with some really insidious individuals here, okay? So with that, it, you know, it keeps the housing market going, people. Right? It's like free money, tax-free. And we're not talking just 1,000 here and 1,000 there. We're talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars per pop. At no expense to the criminal. Because they use public facilities to facilitate their crimes. Like they did with Shamay's dead body at the Surrey Memorial Hospital. To which I requested Andre's medical files. And honestly, you know, I'm going to look around for the next week. But I'm just wondering if I even got them. They said that they sent them to me and I got them. Okay, well, you know, for whatever reason, I'm like, I don't know if I ever got those things. So now I'm running around looking for Andre's medical files before it slips too far behind, right? Just to make sure I have them because I'm so busy with other things. Okay. So, all right. They put it up for $3 million, this house for sale. All of them. All the property owners. Signs went up pretty much all at the same time because they talk between themselves. That's how they run the housing market, people. You know, they go on Craigslist. Oh, this landlord's charging this much for this much and so on and so on. And, you know, it's simple. Just make living uncomfortable and don't do this and don't do that and just whatever, and maybe the tenant will just get fed up and move on. Or, you know, if they think they can just throw your shit in the bin, they'll do that too. Or they'll use the city time after time to, you know, make it look like you're an irresponsible tenant and that you can't keep up with the yard. When in fact, as a tenant, it's not even my freaking responsibility to do the yard, people. But when I moved in, I had a family. I was told, stay as long as you want. Don't worry. We'll never raise the rent. Once I moved in, that was it. I couldn't really afford to move out. I couldn't afford to disrupt my family again. Disrupt by packing up, moving into another location, right? And because it was supposed to be, quote-unquote, long-term, you know, and when you start something, you don't think it's, you know, you think in your mind, oh, that won't take very long. But when you have a yard like this, it takes a long time if you're basically doing it by yourself. Right? And if you're not getting, you know, if you don't have a disposable income where you can go buy the things that you need as you need them, in terms of going to Home Depot and just slapping down $600 worth of money for wooden nails, for example. You know, not to mention the tools that are required to do something with that stuff. You know, you're going to keep what you have and use what you have and be grateful you've got something. So, you know, over the years, when a big flat piece of land that was nothing but sand, fucking mud, weeds after weeds of every kind, raccoon shit, and just freaking morning glory everywhere, gravel rocks, and like literally drainage problems where mud would pool in the back. And like I ran drainage rocks in the back to stop the pooling of the water, people. Like, you think, oh, it's just going to take just a week, right? Yeah, okay. If you ever laid drainage rocks, you know it takes more than a freaking week if you're doing it by yourself. Unless, of course, you're some big Hulk that, you know, can move a ton of this and a ton of that with just a finger. Then, yeah, maybe it goes faster. But for someone like me, it's just always being held fucking against me, man. You know, instead of offering help, like, okay, my landladies, but I'm offering you help. I'm saying, I'll get you a bin and you just chuck everything out. Everything. Planter pots and all. Get rid of them all. Well, what the fuck? You're telling me to get rid of the shit in the house. Now you're telling me to get rid of the shit in the planter pots. You know, I'm like really kind of suspicious as to who's killing my freaking plants here, okay? You know, I'm starting to think it's more than one. In terms of, like, you know, I mean, I've emptied a lot of freaking planter pots, people. Alright? It's like, you know, it's like being evicted from my yard, but I'm expected to fucking work like a bloody dog before it happens. Because when you know, these houses start to sell, I'll probably be the first one to be evicted. Just because it's the cheapest rent, basically, on the block, except for maybe one suite over there. She's been there for 20 years. Other than that, these immigrants over here from Syria, they're paying over $2,000 for a 2-bedroom freaking whatever ex-crack shack that never had its drywall replaced, people. I know that for a fact, even though by law, through the city codes, they're supposed to change all the freaking drywall if it was a fucking shack before they rent it out to somebody else, and they didn't do it, and I know it for a fact because they have that crap on the walls from the Korean people. That was never replaced, and that place was a shack for a year and a half. Yeah. They smoke bombed it out and everything. That was just a big charade. That's all it was. And then they rent out the basement for God knows how much, probably almost the same amount of money. This guy over here, when he got it, he broke it up into 3 different suites. 1 up, 2 down. And they're not even suites. It's just one little room. One little room. That's where one person pays rent and lives. Another one is maybe got 2 little rooms on the other side. And then they got the laundry room with the people upstairs. So you get 3 different incomes from next door, but they list it as a single family home. Yeah, okay. No, my house is a single family home. But they're running us out of town, people. They're destroying our families. That's what they're doing. So anyway, and then the duplex, that's up for sale too, because I'm looking, right? I was looking last night to see what the hell's going on, you know, because my other neighbor over there was telling me that the house, so-and-so was trying to sell their house, and they had it at a high price, and they had to lower it. And then I heard that another woman down that way, not too far, right, has been noticing that that place is freaking empty. At best, she sees 5 lights on. That's it. Out of 133 suites, people. And it's been sitting like that for over a year now. As they have these little karaoke things during the day, once every 2 weeks or something, as an open house to try and get people, old people over 55, right? to purchase or rent, lease one of these suites. But still, it's sitting empty. It's because all the old people are being flushed out of their houses through the healthcare system, and then not being allowed to go home, being forced to sell their houses. And then once they sell their houses, they pay whatever time they spent at those temporary care wards, because they're required to pay $32 a day while they're there. And then after they pay that bill, then they're put into an old folks' home, and that's where they stay until they're dead. And that's why nobody's moving in over there. Old people asking my kids to help them to get the hell out of that joint. When Uncle John was in it. And look what happened to Uncle John. It's a joke out here, people. It's a fucking joke. It's just a charade. It's an illusion. That's how they launder their money. Anyway, I'm riled up. Anybody would be riled up with a whip on their back for nothing. For nothing other than you're a slave. If I ever felt like a freaking slave in all my life, people, it's been more than now, but definitely now. Definitely now. Because they're not just selling the house. They're selling off the family on the fucking chopping block. Okay? And they've already chopped off a whole lot. Chopped off Uncle John, chopped off Shamay, chopped off Sierra, half chopped up Amari, right? Freaking even half chopped up with Andre with the shenanigans that they did with him when he was 28 months old. Took him away from his family, destroyed everybody's mental well-being, and then say, oh, well, it's nothing. You have no reason to come back and complain. Anyway, I gotta save my energy for outside. I've been screwing with the screwdriver, right? I got one of those and it hurts. And I don't want to get dirty, but I have to. Even if I put gloves on, it's just a matter, I just kind of want to let it heal for the day, but I don't think it's going to happen. I have to go outside. I'm going to try and work for the next couple of more days, right? And then just see what happens on Saturday, because, my work isn't going to be over, let's just put it that way. That part, maybe most of it will be done, but I got to get into the hen house area. I have to try and, like I said, raccoon-proof it, and, I'm fixing freaking fences still, people, right? I got to do the rabbit hutch roof. I have to do the shed. I tried to hire somebody $10 an hour, and it's like, whatever. That, again, I guess if I paid $20 an hour, then maybe I might get somebody to help me. But, oftentimes people say, oh yeah, and then when they start working, you can clearly see that they don't know what they're doing, or they don't like what they're doing, or they don't want to do it, but they just pitter at it, right? And this is not a yard you want to be pittering in until, maybe it's all organized. But outside of that, I just wish I could find somebody that could just come in and fucking put in good 7 hours, 10 hours. Just put in good 10 hours, and it's like, forget it. So, right? Because I'm the one that's going to get punished for it, people. This house is just nothing but fucking punishment. That's the way it feels. It's one punishment after another punishment after another punishment. You don't know. There's things I could be crying on about right now, but I'm trying to avoid being negative, right? Because, I know that's what some people want. They want me to just feel crap. It's like that old saying, crabs in a barrel. I'm just some crab in a barrel with a whole bunch of fucking other crabs above me. Smothering me. It's their, you know how crabs are, right? And I'm like, get the fuck away. It's your loss, man. Right? Now I think about my grandmother. Just keep to yourself. Don't worry what your neighbors are doing or what other people are doing. Just keep to yourself. Do what you gotta do. Before you know it, you'll be dead. And it won't matter. Speaking of dead, here's a new thing. Talk about being freaking traumatized. And I'm gonna end it on this video. On this, I'm gonna end this part of the video on this note, okay? Because I really do have to get dressed, and I have to dress warm because it's cold outside, right? But I gotta get out there, and I'll show you a little here and there what I'm doing out there. But other than that, the only thing that's gonna slow me down today is this, because it hurts, right? It probably won't get infected as long as I don't get too much dirt in there, because you know when you're doing things that goes into the glove, and then you know you sweat, and you're digging and you're doing this, and it's like, oh God forbid. But I'm under pressure, got that whip on my back, right? So yeah, they're selling, they lowered the price. Let me finish that. They lowered the price to $2,500,000, which is not unusual because people over there trying to sell houses are doing the same thing, right? But definitely, you know, listing it as potential for 4 or 5 story condos, the whole block. That's the bait, right? You know, as an investor, you can make this investment, and then, you know, you can come up with 133 suites within the block, if not more. 160, 70 suites with these 4 houses alone gone. And that's the name of the game, people. That's what's going on out here. Well, the people that do the wheeling and dealing, they take the money and they run and they go live in their gated communities, basically. And then they repeat the process in a different district, like a different neighborhood. And they go right across the province. It's happening all over the place. And people don't want to work. Some people don't want to work, even at $10 an hour. And then if you give them 20, you still might get the same as if you were giving them 10 in terms of the labor back. Because I've had several people over the years work on this property, and you can usually tell who likes to work and who doesn't, right? Because the ones that don't mind working, you know, they really do make an effort. You can tell, right? But the ones that just want to fuck around and just whatever, just, I don't know. So what was I saying? About being traumatized? Because I'm traumatized, people. I go outside right now, I'm so traumatized you don't know. It's just because it's been too many years and it was a setup from the day I moved in and I just didn't realize it. And it's like I said, it's not like I can just pack up and go live somewhere else, because there is nowhere else to live. No. Not really. Not unless you want to pay $2,500 for a dump in a dump. Which is like an old house that's been broken up into 3 suites, when in fact this shit was just meant for one family. Can you see? So whatever the government sent me in my email, in terms of a response to my appeal, this is what they sent me through snail mail. Marie and I, we can't figure it out. It's a notice of appearance, but it doesn't tell you where you're supposed to appear, or what you're appearing against or for. I don't get it. I don't know if I'm supposed to respond to it and book a date, or if I'm supposed to wait for a date, in terms of they'll let me know when I'm supposed to show up for their notice of appearance. And what it means, I don't know. I'm just saying. So, but I can't worry about that, because I have to be a circus animal and go perform for my masters who have me up for sale, basically. Yeah, and my family. Yeah. They've already separated so many of us as if we were slaves. Isn't that what they do when you're slaves? They come in and they take one here and they take one there. They kill one over there and hang them upside down in a tree and slice their gut and everything comes out, right? That's what they do with slaves, right? That's what they did in the freaking, what was it, 15, 14, 1300s or 1700s, right? Well, they're still doing it, people, okay? They're just doing it in a different kind of way, all right? When I was driving up, when Sierra died, supposedly, because I always be suspicious about that, people. We were driving up the road to the house where her body was at, and right next to that house was this, I don't know, tree that really didn't have too many leaves on it, and it had a rope on it, up high, curled like this, so you couldn't help but notice it. Seriously. It was like a subliminal message, because you have to remember my Sierra was mixed, right? Black from the United States, African American, whatever, right? Her dad from there, and me. But it's that one drop rule, right? You got one drop of black blood in you, and for whatever reason, people seem to think that they have the right to target you and exploit you and your family and whatnot. And so yeah, think about it. John ripped out of the house. Andre ripped out of the house. Sierra lured to her death. Shamay murdered in the house, right? Amari injured at birth. Doesn't that sound like slavery to you? Isn't that what the slave master does to the family that are slaves? Right? They can't say, no, you can't take my loved one. They just get up in the morning and the loved one is gone. Right? Another one will be taken and raped and beat and brutalized and then hung upside down in a tree. Isn't that the way it worked? Well, it's still working like that today, people, in my opinion. Don't they work you to fucking death and play mind games with you and make you feel like you never can live up to anything outside of being whatever they think you are in terms of less than a human being, and they treat you as such? Isn't that what slavery is about? Isn't that what you see happening to me fucking time after time? You offer me a bin, but yet you won't have somebody come into the fucking yard and pay them to help me fucking do fence repairs or porch repairs or cut back on the fucking grapes or anything, right? Didn't help me with the sand, didn't help me with the fucking gravel rocks, didn't help me with the freaking weeds, didn't help me with the fucking mud, didn't help me with the raccoons, still don't help me with the raccoons. Sure in hell didn't help me with the morning glory, that's for sure. But yet, a bin is going to solve the problem. Outside of maybe breaking down my emotional well-being. Because I'm like, what, you know, it's not going to solve the problem because the weeds are still going to grow back. The bushes are going to grow back. The morning glory is going to grow back. The raccoons are going to run around and terrorize everything, right? Right? The fence is still going to fall down, right? Right? Things are still going to get weather worn, right? But I'm expected to keep up with that. And even then it won't be enough because that's the way it works, right? Because I'm a slave, and that's how slaves are treated. Okay? So with that said, and knowing what I know, I'm going to end it here because I'm pretty choked about it because I don't appreciate being freaking traumatized like this, people. Okay? But it's beyond being traumatized. It's about knowing what's really going on in the province of British Columbia, Canada, and how they launder money and how they traffic human beings out here. Okay? Whether dead or alive. Right? And so, in light of what they do with bodies these days, and they can't wait to get their hands on them, in terms of what they did to Shamay, what they did to Sierra, what they did to the neighbor over there when they hauled his ass out in a hammock, even though he was quote-unquote dead. No, he wasn't dead. He was hooked up, well, yeah, maybe he was dead. And he was hooked up to a perfusion machine, and that's why they used a hammock to carry him out to the coroner's vehicle. Or whatever vehicle they put the body in. Right? Just like with whatever they did over here at this house with that military SWAT team that blew out the house and that white vehicle showed up. Okay, there was only one reason why that white vehicle showed up. Okay, that's because they took a body out of there, people. Because that's what they do out here when they're not kidnapping them and locking them up in old folks' homes or whatever. So, knowing what they do with the bodies out here, basically what I'm trying to say is, when it comes my time to die, now this is being traumatized. Honestly, I don't want them to get their dirty, grubby, filthy, nasty hands on my body. So I'm like plotting in my head how I can destroy my body. Literally, destroy my body. So it will be useless to them by the time I'm dead. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why would I allow them to treat my body like the way they treated Shamay's body? Why would I allow them to treat my body like they did to Sierra's body behind that closed door? And then sealed her files so that nobody knows really what happened to that body. But they sure did get inside of it now, didn't they? They made sure they had a quote-unquote legal right to cut her open, even though they left her out on the streets for 8 freaking years and used and abused her. And then they sealed her files. Because we know whatever they were doing with Shamay's body, they did to Sierra's body too. They've taken it to a whole new level, people. So, I wouldn't take it for granted that when you think, oh, it's, simple. I'll just die and everybody will do the right thing and give me a funeral and perhaps they'll embalm my body and people will come by and say goodbye and they'll do as they're told and just take my embalmed body that's in a casket now and put it in the ground so that I can forever be in peace. Yeah, okay. Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't kid yourself. And if you think it's not in your district, trust me, it's coming. Okay? It's not just happening in Surrey or in British Columbia, Canada. It's happening everywhere. It's just people aren't aware of it because they're stuck on stupid. Yeah. Because they're gullible. That's why. Stuck on stupid because they're gullible. Well, I'm not gullible, people. So yeah, I'm like, okay, well, you'd have to do something pretty drastic. Do you have the courage? And how would you know when the right time is? Like, how you, right? It's like, spontaneous combustion, right? Like, right? How could you just spontaneously combust at the moment of when you know you're going to die, just so that you can protect your body from the criminals? Because that would be the only reason I would even be thinking about such a thing. Now, if that isn't being freaking traumatized, I don't know what is. Right? So, going outside, is it making me weaker and sicker? Or is it making me stronger and wiser? Which one? I don't know. Because I have to take 2 Tylenol before I go out there, because I kind of have a headache. Because I'm trying to do it with a good attitude, and I'm not getting very far with it. Because, I don't know. There is no escape. No. I'm just waiting for the next bad thing. That's it. Yeah. Just waiting for the next bad thing. Because I don't consider the city to be a good thing, that's for sure. No. Not at all. Suki had me out in the yard. I'm pretty sure it was 2016. I'm telling you, people, I worked like 6 days a week. 7 days a week. For 10 months straight, basically. If I didn't do 3-4 days in a row, I think I took like one day out of the week if I was lucky. And I worked outside for 10 months. Because of that shit. See? With that whip on my back. I look back now, and like seriously, they were trying to break my spirit, so I said fuck it and move out just so they could raise the rent. Yeah. And continue to target my family somewhere else. Because it would follow me. Because I'm like, well, where can you go? Like, you need to leave this province. Like, right? Because I don't consider it to be a safe province. I really don't. Not anymore. There's something wrong with it. I'm telling myself, well, you can run, but you can't hide. So suck it up. Just deal with it. So I'm just going to go outside and deal with it. And try and put in another good day and stay out there until dark, which is about 7. Right? So if I can get out there by 10:30, because as soon as I get off, I'm going to get dressed and go. Just get warm. Maybe make myself a coffee, and once I'm out there, that's it. I'm going to try not to think about too much, because I really miss my daughters, and I miss Uncle John. I miss my life, people. I miss my life when it was safe, and it had meaning. It has no meaning now, other than to be a slave to somebody else. Like, I have never felt, listen, I know all about pimping and procurement and trafficking and all that crap. But in all my life, and obviously, I know about institutional racism and racism and all that crap, okay? But I have never felt so much as a quote-unquote slave as I have in this place. And it's really intense right now. It's really intense. Yeah. Because the slave masters have made it impossible for the slaves to escape. And therefore we're locked in to whatever fate that they have planned for us. And that's what slave masters do. They plan the fate of their slaves. Some get hung up in a tree and sliced open. Others get raped and beat and put in wherever until they're dead. Others are put out in the field and worked to death until they're dead. Others get rewarded like Sonia too, the house slave, right? You know, the one that works for the government and does the dirty work for the government so that they can keep running their slaves and snatch them up here and snatch them up there and chop them up here and chop them up there and prop them up over there for some science experiment so that they can, you know, launder money here, there, and everywhere else because they're running slaves, right? Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm thinking about when I'm working out in the yard. Okay, so before I go outside, I just wanted to show you this. Obviously, they've gotten bigger, you can tell. Right? I haven't been able to do those other things. Okay? Look what's happening. It's ripening. There's these ones. There's, Andre was saying there's one down there too. Somewhere down there. Where are we? I can't see. Where are you? There you are. See? Oh, it smells so good. And they're getting taller. So I don't know, am I supposed to improve the light? I have it on a timer, so the timer works out actually pretty good. It wasn't that hard to set it up. Right? I don't know. I know there's, these ones are ripe. I think, there's bushy in here. Definitely smells like tomatoes. I'll give them some water. And I have some purslane here. See, that's purslane. But you have to double check it because there's another plant that looks like purslane, but it's poisonous. And how you can tell is you turn it over, and if you see little white fuzz, like hairs, that's the one you don't want to eat. Because that one is poisonous. Now I can't really see, so before I do anything with these, I'd have to double check with the magnifying glass and have somebody else help me. And then we've got some parsley that just, there's some more over there, I think. Anyway, I gotta just give these guys some water. And then I'm gonna get dressed and go outside. Yeah. Okay, now I'm outside. I'll go put on my what do you call it? Blue workman's jacket. And it's cold. So you see, I was in there poking around, right? And then I'm gonna get back up in here though and carry on with what I need to do. So hold on. Okay, so I made it. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Can you tell? These things, they're the greatest, man. How many years have I had this, people? Long time. They're so cozy. I'm sure by 1, 2 o'clock it will warm up, because that's what it's been doing, but I can't wait, right? Yesterday I was kind of doing light work. Today I'm going to be moving bricks and laying and doing the gravel. I'm just psyching myself up here. Let me go get these gloves. Do you hear me bumbling around? Oh boy. What did I do? Oh my god. Oh no, here it is. I don't know if you can see the rabbit. I'll be out here now till 7. I don't want to get cold. And chilling on my neck. I couldn't find a scarf. So I figure a lot of my neighbors probably think I'm the laughing stock of the neighborhood, right? Dead kids, gimped up grandchild, always running around like a chicken without her head on. Why are we not surprised? She waits for me. I know. You love me so much and I love you. Yeah. Yeah, this is her good old days. She loving it with me outside. She loves it. Yeah. Mostly all immigrants. Probably think I'm the laughing stock of the neighborhood. That old white woman with a cigarette hanging out of her mouth. Always got the city riding her ass. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Must be something wrong with her with all those dead kids, eh? What's... I just tell myself, your turn's coming. Wait till my kind's dead. I'm gone. There'll be nothing left. They're gonna come after you. You won't be laughing then. So yeah, how do you spontaneously decompust? Like decombustion, right? Decombustion. It's bust. B-U-S-T. Bustion. Decompose. Just go poof. And then all there's a little pile of ashes there. That would be the ideal death, people, for me. There'd be nothing for them to steal. Nothing. I don't want to leave these bastards nothing to steal. Nothing to capitalize off of me anymore. I'm sick of it. I'm so sick and tired of their morbid fucking ideologies and their morbid ways. So sick of it. as they're laughing. There. New pair of gloves, so hopefully that won't get too disturbed. Tisha could only find medium size. I prefer small, but I said just buy me 4 packs of gloves. Had two gloves in each pack, so I've been going through them like water. Yeah. Look how Mickey just patiently waits. See? She just patiently waits. Hey, Mickey? Yeah, you're a camera ham. Everybody knows that. Anyone who watches my channel knows that Mickey is a camera ham. Like Amari. He knows too. If I turn on the camera, he looks, he can tell. Come on. Get out of here. Go, go. Get out of here. Once I start, that's it. Just keep go, go, go. I'm not making a coffee right now. I'll have it later because I took the Tylenol. Kind of defeats the purpose, right? I'll have it in the afternoon. I have to get into that shed, gut it, so I can spray it down, wash everything, see what's salvageable. So I'll pick at that today a little bit. But my main mission is to do these gravel rocks, this area in here with the bridge, and kind of just place the rails where I think I can have them. I'm debating how I should secure them because they need to be secure, right? So more than likely I'm going to have to cement them in to some degree, right? The rails. Because they're there for safety purposes, right? It takes a lot of, like, thinking to try and put in a pond. Right? I've been thinking more about it than I've been actually doing it, but whatever. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the spring. I might be kicked out of this house yet. I don't take anything for fucking granted in this stupid province. Nothing. Well, I'd be the first one on the block. I could see it. Just so they could pull in five grand on this house because of the yard, basically. And with the corruption within the housing market in general. They do $2,800 on top, and they push for $2,000 on the bottom. So what's that? $4,800. Yeah. They do it because that's the only way they know how to make money. And then they won't fix it because they'll be saying, "Oh, we're not fixing anything because it's going to be torn down anyway. It's an old house. It's going to be demolished for a condo." You fix it. And then the new tenants will find themselves in a situation like me. Only thing is, the yard will be done. And I'll be dead. That's how slavery works. Because it's not like I'm going to be able to afford to go anywhere else because there's nothing affordable. The slave masters made it so. They keep you on the fucking fringe. Yeah. Well, your neighbors laugh at you. Somehow thinking that they're better than you because they came from a different country and they have a different religion. And they're a different color. You don't know what it's like for me here. I listen to the neighborhood, everybody talking, eh? And they're all different, either different languages, so of course you don't know what they're saying, right? Or they got really, really heavy accents. Anyway, I don't want to pick on my neighbors. Yeah, okay. I can do this. Once I start moving around, the layers of clothing start coming off. Okay, so for me, everything is gray. The big chore for the day is this. I have to finish piecemeal in the rails to figure out what I'm going to do and if I'm going to cement them and fill in the gaps, right, so that I can start moving this out, because I want this all out. It would be great if I could have it all out by Saturday, but that remains to be seen. See, I'm getting ready to get into that shed. That's what this is for. I gotta clear everything out. Spray it down. I don't know what's salvageable, what's not salvageable in there. I don't know what's been taken from there. I just don't know. Someone's stealing my shovels. Yeah. My son says, oh, don't talk about it. Because they're obviously watching your YouTube channel and they get off on it. And I'm like, as if I don't know that. Yeah, well, don't feed into it, Mom. I mean, yeah, well, you're not the one that's being stalked here, son. I am, right? And yeah, I want to document it, people. Like, now they're going after my shovels. I can't find my shovels. Isn't that interesting? Right? Okay. So, hold on. Okay. So the big chore for the day is to get this in. And as you can see, I'm kind of placing rails where I think I might be able to put them. I mean, obviously they're gaps, but whatever. There's gonna be another one here, right? Just a small one. So, this is what I'm thinking. I got it pretty much level, but I want to go down another, what is that, 2 inches? So I can rest these 4x4s on 2 rows of bricks, right? And then everything else in the middle, after the fact, will be gravel rocks, because this is a drainage for when I want to spray things. You know, water will go in here, and then hopefully it will go out versus into the pond, right? We don't want it going into the pond. So that's the whole idea of what I'm trying to do here. So that means I have to dig down. Here's my 5-gallon bucket. I'm carrying buckets today, people. I pretty much got it level on this corner. Take it down a bit more, put a brick in there, put that back on top, and see if it's pretty much level, and then take this out, take more dirt out all the way through. You'll see. I want to show you, right? And then I'm going to yeah, string of bricks, bunch of gravel rocks on top. That goes on top, sit nice and tight. Put the other board in there. I got some old paint kicking around, green, so I'll probably just paint this green. Not today, but at some point. A piece in a rail here, right?
Good morning.
Hold on a minute. Okay, so I took out about, oh, I don't know, 15 or 20 of those. Those are like 5-gallon buckets. You know how heavy that is? With landfill? Oh my god. Anyway, because I'm going to make this drainage, right? So I had to dig out a whole bunch of freaking dirt. Putting in ponds is not easy, man. Alright, so this is what I'm doing. I used a vinyl siding because I've got this all boarded off in here, right? And this is, what's on this wall is like, I don't know what it is, but it's so sturdy, man. You don't even know. This side is board with old roofing material, that plastic stuff, right? To make a wall so nothing comes caving in, right? That side over there, I don't have anything secure yet, and roots come out. So when the time comes, I may end up cutting this thing in half yet and just piecing it in just to give it the structure so it doesn't lose its shape, right? Okay, so in the meantime, this board was, you know, like Mrs. Gill, oh, just chuck it out. No, you throw it out. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. So anyway, I used this board, which isn't a very stable board, but it was, you know, good enough for what I needed. I've got this on this side, which will last forever. And then I just now put another board, which is in much better shape, against this board to give this board some more strength, right? To hold, right? It's okay. And now I'm going to fold this piece of plastic that's been kicking around forever, that some people would see as garbage, but for me, it's, in this situation, working pretty good, right? So as you can see what I'm doing here, is this even recording? Okay, just fold it over a little bit. Okay, now this is just temporary. Well, this part will stay. This will be dealt with in the spring. Now I'm going to fold it over and staple. Now this is a drainage area, so all I really want to do is take it down, and I'm going to cut it. You're going to see. Hold on. Okay, so always something, but it's not an emergency. So as you can see, we have a weak spot here. Right? We've got this here, which is a board. We've got this one here, which is a board, but we've got nothing to make it parallel, flush with each other. Right? So at some point I'm going to have to go in there and add something else, but that's for another day. I'm not too worried about it right now. It looks like it rained last night because everything's all wet. I don't know. It must have rained. Anyway, so now I'm going to lay... Oh my lord, my camera's getting all dusty, man. This is how I ruin my cameras. I'm going to lay 2 levels of bricks here. Place this on top. I'll lay the bricks and then gravel rocks in between, and then place this on top. And then, yeah, just hold on. Oh, I don't want to ruin this camera, man. When I'm working with grit, that's what happens. So the camera gets all dusty. Okay. See, remember I told you? That goes almost 5 feet down, full of sand. When the time comes, pull everything back, start digging out the sand, putting it along the sides, flattening it, wetting it, flattening it, and then laying your overlay and then your lining. I'll worry about this in the next day or two, but in the meantime, you see that gravel? That came from Sierra. So I'm using it now because anytime you do bricks, technically it's best to use sand, right? Of course. Why are we not surprised? Yeah, we love you too, Mickey. Anyway, go away. And so I'm using the gravel for what it's worth, right? It will suffice for what I need here. And it just gives it a little more support, right? And then everything else in the middle in here will be basically gravel rocks. So I've got the 1 row going here. I'm just gonna tighten it up a little bit, level it out a bit. I'm doing everything by feel because I can't really, and then I'll fill in the gaps, right, with that gravel. So I'm just feeling with my hand because I can't, you know, I can't really see. I'm only eyeballing things right now. Okay, well, I've always just pretty much eyeballed things. It's not going to be level, but it's okay. It will. See, you can just work it, right? And then put in a couple of rocks on the bottom, right? And then it's 22, almost 22.5 inches from one post to the other, 4x4s, right? So I'll measure 22 inches And then I'll do another row here, okay? And then once I got them lined up, I'll fill this up with the rocks. And then everything else, maybe take out just a bit more dirt, because I can feel that, you know, it could probably a little more, right? Or at least, I don't know. Yeah, a little bit more. And then I'm going to fill this all up with gravel rocks. Pretty much. And then that will be my drainage. Right? Hold on. Okay, so basically I used a whole bucket. Okay? You can see what's going on here. So I'm just eyeballing it from what I can tell. That looks kind of level to me. Right? So if you're wondering how I'm doing this. Okay, so do you see? Now it's going to require a few more rocks than that. Okay, so nothing fancy, as you can see. Right, now I'm going to take this, and I'll put these 4x4s basically on the bricks. Right? And then that should give it the support that it needs. And then over time it will settle. Right? Hold on. Okay. Now I don't know what time it is. Probably maybe 5:30. Something like that. It got worse. Do you see it? I whacked it a few times. I am so dusty, man. I can feel it. I've still got a long way to go yet. I'll show you in a minute what I've done. I so want to go in, but you know, I was working hard. That walkway is still crooked. It's leaning a little like this. For as blind as I am, I can tell. I'm sure if I was to bring a level out, I'd be off by, oh, I don't know, anywhere from I'd say more than a 1/4 inch. Right? Between a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch. Maybe a 1/2 inch. I don't think it's an inch. And it bugs me, right? But the major part of it got done. I can poke away at it here and there. Things will start to settle anyway a little bit, right? Oh my God, my body is just like, ugh. I lifted, I don't know, 15, 20 buckets of dirt, man. Like my back is spazzing like this, I can feel it. That's 5-gallon buckets, right? And it was moist. So I guess it rained last night or something, because it was moist. So it made it heavier, right? I so want a coffee. I have to do laundry, dishes. There's not that many dishes because it's just me basically eating sardine sandwiches, so it's just plates and silverware and bowls and, well, cups. Yeah, I could be washing dishes, but anyway, I'm going to try and do this right up until Friday. Today's what, Wednesday? So Thursday, Friday. I'm going to try and get 2 more full days. I'm going to plead with Tisha to keep Amari and Andre. And let me just work for 2 more days and she can bring them back on Saturday and I'll deal with the city then, right? I mean, obviously I'm not going to get everything done. It's impossible. You'd have to be, I'm telling you, you have to be in this yard like 5 days a week, fucking 12 hours a day, if not 6 days a week, seriously. But once I get rid of this miscellaneous whatever I'm doing right now, it will be better. It'll be much better. I'm doing work that I should have done last year. Right now. Right. It's gonna come, it's coming along. I'll show you. Do you see? Oh boy. That's a little crooked. It's off. It doesn't look too bad right now, but I know it's off just a little bit. It's leaning too much like this way. Right? So I'll poke around with it. That's how I figure I'm going to put these rails in, but I'm not sure how to make them sturdy. Right? I might have to cement them inside the actual block itself. That would probably suffice. Right? Right now, this one here, I just wedged it in with some rocks, but it's going to have to be done too, right? But that looks kind of nice, don't you think? And then I got this rail, but I want it on the inside. Not sure how I'm going to secure it on the inside, but, or maybe I'll leave it on the outside, hard to say. I don't know. But it seems to be okay there. And then I got a little gap. But for something like this, you could get black mesh, which I probably have. Well, some wire first, like chicken wire. You could run chicken wire or some kind of wire, and then mesh it over with black mesh, so you wouldn't notice the wire. And then that would kind of like, because I plan on meshing this anyway, more than likely, you know, when the time comes to try and keep the raccoons out. But who am I kidding? They can just jump right over. Apparently when your ponds start getting big like this, you start getting loons coming in and ducks. So I don't know. We'll see. I have cats. I have raccoons. So they'll scare them away. Right? Because this is fairly big compared to the other little one, right? But it's different levels. And then when it comes time to actually put the pond in, pull everything back, and I can sculpt it maybe a little better, right? I'm just, because I have these little pebble rocks, like pebbles, like these ones, which I should actually move. Is it these ones? Anyway, I got other ones that are even smaller than this. Really nice. That would be, you kind of want to see them. I kind of wanted a very low little slope here, but it's not turning out that way unless I build it up. Like I'd like almost like a little, you know, about a foot wide, sloping down, just with a little slope inside with a bunch of little, I don't know what they're called, but they're really tiny. They're like the size of my fingernail, right? That's not very big, right? Just right there would be nice. I worked in here. You can see. I swept it. Whatever. Just imaginating things. Right? I did all that, eh, people? Back in the day. My back is just kind of a little sore right now, but I kind of want to continue to work. So maybe I'll go get myself a coffee, because I probably got about 2 more hours to go. And it's starting to cool down again. So if I can just tidy up a little this, a little that, it will be better. I'll go faster. I swear I must have been a carpenter when I was in my past life. A carpenter and a bricklayer. Yeah. Definitely a seamstress. Maybe I had more than one past. You know, like reincarnated. I've been reincarnated more than once. But this time around, I already told God I don't ever want to come back. No, I don't want to come back to the planet after this is over. I can't deal with the corruption, people. I can't. And my eyes are wandering. I can't deal with the corruption. I can't deal with mean people and evil people and things. I can't deal with fucking things that pose as human beings. And I can't stand laziness. I can't stand people taking advantage of people. Right? Such as myself. I can't stand abuse. I can't stand politics. Because it's just a game. Doesn't mean anything. But I love Mickey. Yes, Mickey, I'm not done yet. Go away. See, if I slow down, I just want to stop. I can't stop yet. Oh, I'm going to have a rough night. My back is going. There's all those buckets of dirt. I've moved a lot of fucking dirt in this yard. Boo-boo dirt. Oh my God. Why? Why did I get stuck with it, people? Like, I'll never friggin' figure it out. I should have left when I had a chance. Better yet, I should never have moved in. But, you know, you can't cry over spilt milk, right? I so miss my family, though. This house was the death of my family. Yeah. Because of the politics in the province. And that's the shit that makes me not want to come back. No. People don't appreciate shit like this. Nope. They really don't. They don't appreciate anything I do. Maybe far, far away when they watch my videos, they appreciate it because, you know, they get to see something different or hear something different. But people around me, no. They all take it for granted. Everybody. And they think I should work harder and give up more. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want to come back. Nope. I'm done. I don't want to birth kids no more just to have them murdered. And then fucking dirty cops covering it up. I can't stop thinking about it. I think about it every day, all day long, pretty much. Right? Fucking skanky ass governments that belong in the sewage because they cover up murder and prop up institutional racism with the Eleanor Gildings running their provincial programs. Now that is institutional racism right there. Okay, that's the shit that Uncle John and I fought against, was people like his sister. The epitome of what institutional racism is, and the government just proves how it props up institutional racism by protecting that bitch. Yeah. Because that's what they're doing, people. So much so that they're covering up murder when it comes to my girls. And the birth injury of Amari. And what they did to Andre and the rest of my family. For politics. I should have been a bricklayer. Or maybe I already was. Because really, it's quite easy. It's just time consuming and a little bit of labor, and you injure yourself. I got that, actually, from using a screwdriver, screwing in screws for that little walkway. And then, of course, I've been using my hand non-stop, right? So, you see how it gets dirty? No. By Saturday, well, I'm not working on Saturday. I'll be too tired by Saturday. I'll just wait for the city to show up. Yeah. But I'll work tomorrow and I'll work Friday for sure. And then Saturday will be a slow day. Not really. I have to start doing laundry and get ready to go back outside. Maybe on Sunday or Monday. That old rigmarole. So, Mari's doing good. For all his finicky, picky behavior right now with eating, he's gaining weight, so that's good, and he's alert. The doctor acknowledged it, and active, and, just whatever, and so that made me feel good. Because I wanted to go, right? But I couldn't go to the appointment. Because I haven't seen a pediatrician for actually quite a while. Tisha, like I said, oftentimes does this. Obviously, I'm not fighting with Tisha no more. I want to see if I can register with childcare, subsidy childcare, and have her maybe take the kids 2 days a week for me. And she can make herself a little bit of money because, she's not on welfare or anything like that. So, but that's another day, right? Other than that, she just does these things for me. But yeah, she took all the kids to see the pediatrician. Amari's doing pretty good, so that makes me feel good. He wants to learn. He wants to play and be interactive. And the faster I can get this done, the faster I can get on with other things. But I never really get a break from this yard for any length of real time, and if I do, everything falls apart, and then it just becomes a fucking heat score. And people don't want to work, people. I'm telling you, people out here just don't want to work. I guess maybe if you pay them $20 an hour. But I've seen, I've paid a fair amount of people money over the years, and they move like snails. They don't know how to put things together. They don't know how to take a pile and sort it out and make it right, They just move it somewhere else, and you come out and you think that maybe they accomplished something, and you what did you do? Well, you just moved that pile over to that pile. You didn't accomplish anything, right? You just made a bigger mess for me. That's all you did. Not everybody does that, but actually a lot of people, they don't really have very good work skills. I suppose if they're a professional and that's what they do, and they're advertising in a business or something, but then you're looking at way too much money. That's why landlords get in suckers like me that will take on the project for free, and then we're held hostage to it and we become slaves to it. That's what happens. Yeah. And because we're poor, well, we know how it rocks. Right? One family member disappears over there, another one disappears over there, one gets injured over there. Next thing you know, whoever's left is all kicked out in the fucking streets. Because you are nothing more or nothing less than a slave. So I guess there's worse places I could be in terms of in the here and now, considering where I'm sitting, right? Because after it's all tidied up, the energy that comes from it, in terms of the grounding, and just the it will probably be one of those better memories. But I ain't coming back on this planet to do none of it again. None of it. I don't want to come back and have kids because I know what's going to happen to them. I don't want to come back and work on a non-profit or be charitable or anything like that because I know the real deal. I know what people are like. I know how far you can go in life unless, of course, you want to sacrifice your fucking soul for it. No, I don't want any of it. I hope that when I die, I see Shamay, I see Uncle John, I see Sierra. Well, we know I'm going to see my grandma. More than likely, I'll see my Uncle Harry. I gotta go, okay, go. So, I'll probably see him again. I know I'll see my grandfather. I don't know if I'll see them all at the same time, but I'll definitely see somebody. I just gotta figure out how to destroy my body before I go. So those things can't capitalize off of it. Doing Uncle John. He said, I'm not going to keep my superannuation life insurance policy. After age 65, I'm not paying into it because I know what my family's like, Judy, and they'll try and rob you. So it's just better if we don't have it. And I said, gee, John, I guess you have a point. You know what you're doing. It's your life, your money. You do what you want. He says, yeah, I don't want my family coming into your world and ruining your world looking for a superannuation life insurance policy. So he thought he'd be safe, but his wife ruined it, left him some money, and that was enough to stoke that institutional racism. Prop up that white privilege. So the house slave for the province of British Columbia, Canada, aka Sonia 2, who works for the Attorney General's office and the Public Safety and Solicitor Attorney General's office, can protect her because she's a house slave. And that's why Punjabis like to try and think that they're white. But when you call them on it, oh no, we're Punjabi. 100% true. Nothing less and nothing more. But let me just bleach my skin. Let me jump on that bandwagon of institutional racism with organized fucking religion, with organized boo-boo crime, and teach you slaves a lesson. Yeah. That's about it. Okay. We'll just... I think it's recording. I turned it off by accident. What's gonna be killed next? I'd like to know. What do you think? The pump is on, but it's on very, very low. I have to set up a, what is it? A filter. But that's another day, because you're dealing with hoses and, oh, that's just, I don't have time for that. Oh. See, I mean, by Saturday, all this will be gone, right? All this will be pretty much, ideally, it would be nice if I could get that all out of here. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, right? That was the big job right there. So now, what I'm going to do, probably tomorrow, start piecing in what I can to fill in the gaps. Just imaginating, not quite sure. Get my son to move a couple of these rocks. I'll probably empty these out into a different bin. Get all this stuff out. You can see now it's like, do a bit more weeding, right? For what it's worth. Just in here, right? This, just get this all figured out for the next 2 days, right? Well, that's not bad. I'm probably gonna have to order a couple of cords and figure out how I'm gonna run these lights. I've got this one and I've got another one. I'm not quite sure where I'm gonna put the other one yet. And then I have to encase the cord in hosing, which I have, which is good. My landlady, what you got that hose for? Throw it out. No, you don't understand. I need that hosing so I can run cords through it, so I can protect the cords from the element. That's how it goes. That's how you do it, right? And then, of course, I still got this little hot spot. Oh, this is where I was yesterday. It was all up in here. There's my baby. That's Mickey, my baby. Yeah. And they'll be like, and you didn't do anything down there? Whip, whip, whip. Whip on the back. I'm coming back next week. And I'll be doing that shit for a fucking week out there. And then it will be somewhere else. Unless, of course, maybe if he just sees this and he'll think, okay, she's serious. Just leave her alone. She knows what she's doing. That's what I'm hoping for, right? That's kind of why I'm working so hard on it. But yeah, that looks pretty good, actually. Once you get rid of all this little miscellaneous stuff. Oh, that rail is crooked. That rail is way crooked. I can see that. That's up by like, oh God, 2 inches. This side. Yeah, I gotta get rid of that rock. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put it. Okay, that's it, people. There. I'll just end it right there.